Good morning. I'm going to show you a trick how you can do some calculations and design using Google Sketchup. I'm a contractor, as some of you may know, and I was challenged with designing some windows and coming up with these window dimensions to order from my customer. What I did know was some of the dimensions on the trusses that I use. So what we did was we removed the trusses from this person's house. We installed new trusses. They're called scissor trusses that you see here on the screen. They look kind of like an open set of scissors. Here's the opening. And a couple of dimensions I was going to show you that I could take off of this drawing that would help me understand what I need for the size of the windows that I needed to order. So if you look here on the left side, follow my cursor, 8'7" and 0, you know that to the peak of this truss, it's 8'7". And then if you look here, right here, at what they call the heel of the truss, that's 1 foot and 0 increments extra. But the key dimension that I needed was this point right here in the middle, because that's going to be the interior ceiling of the house. And if you come across there, that was the key dimension. That was 3 foot 8 inches and 8/16 of an inch. So it's 3 foot 8.5 inches. Trusses and their truss diagrams, they read really funny. So it takes a little while to get used to it. Just to give you an idea, these are 26-foot long trusses. It says 26 feet up here, but it builds in increments. It's just so confusing. So disregard all that stuff. Bottom line is, I know how tall the truss is, I know how big the heel is, and I know how big it is to the peak. Keep those in your mind, and we're going to move to the next step, which is to go to Google Sketchup and draw one of these things up to design the windows. Let's go over here. Let's grab SketchUp and let's do a new one. All right, so for this exercise, it was a two-dimensional thing. So whenever I do two-dimensional, I just do a top-down view. I go for parallel projection, which does not give you what they call perspective. It just gives you a parallel projection, and I go top. So then you get your axes, you got your green and your red. I take my hand here and I drag it down. So a couple dimensions, remembering back from that truss drawing, we know. And I use my marker to mark some of these. The truss is 26 feet long overall, so we can draw a line at 26 feet, right? And just hit return. You just draw the line, then type over 26 feet and hit enter, and it'll put it where it needs to be. And one thing that you need to know about SketchUp, just to get everything sized back into the full screen of the computer, Shift-Z puts you there. If you notice, when I hit Shift-Z, I've got the start of the line and the end of the line all on one page. Okay, so a couple of things that we know already about that truss, and we can use the measurement tool here, is we know to the very top of that truss, it was 8'7". You just put 8'7". Okay, and it draws. So zoom out, and you can see where you made that grid line. And the other thing we do know about that truss is we know that it is, if it's 26 feet long, it's 13 feet to the center, right? So I'm going to take my pencil line and I'm going to slide on this bar until I hit the center, and that blue indicates midpoint. And I'm going to start a pencil line straight from that midpoint to the top dashed line, which is the very top of that truss. So now we know that the edges at the heel were 1 foot. So I can draw a line and I can say 1 foot. I can go over here, draw a line and put 1 foot, enter. Okay, now I have defined the outer edges of the truss. So I can go here and draw that line. I can go here and draw this line, and it all fills in nicely. Now we know we have the exterior dimensions on the top of that truss, but we have not yet drawn the scissor yet. So one thing we need to do is refer back to that truss drawing, and we're missing one thing. Okay, so we need to know how far in we come before we start to go back up for the ceiling area, which is right here. So it looks like 3.5 inches. They're giving a wall space. So a couple things we're going to do here, and I'm being very accurate because I'm measuring windows. So what we're going to do is let's zoom in a little bit. Let's Shift Z. Okay, there we go. Shift Z. See how it recenters? We're going to use this tool right here, and we're going to come in 3.5 inches. We're going to go over here. We're going to go 3.5 inches. Okay, so that tells us where this starts to go back up. Okay, and we knew, and if you refer back to that drawing. I don't know why that drawing keeps going away. If you look at this drawing, we remember we're 3 foot 8 inches and 8/16. So 3 foot 8.5 to this center point here. And once we get that, we're off to the races. So we're going to go here, and we're going to just take our line, and we're going to go up 3 feet and 8.5 inches. And then draw that line right there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect the pencil line from here to here. And we're going to connect the pencil line from here to here. So once we've got that, we've got the general shape of our scissor truss. Now, if you were to erase this line and this line and this line, that actually looks like our scissor truss, correct? But we know we want to fill in windows that go below this truss area. So let's draw back in that line so it fills in, so we have something to work off of. Okay, and we want to create windows for this area. So one thing I know is I want to draw a center line. And I'm going to space these windows about 4 inches apart, and I want 4 inches of reveal on the inside ceiling area and all around them. So I'm going to just start drawing some grid lines to make my perimeter. So I'm going to go 4 inches. I'm going to go here, 4 inches. Sometimes Google SketchUp will snap to what you want. So it's already knowing that I want 4 inches everywhere, so it's snapping to that point. But here, since it's in the center, I'm going to go 2 inches this way, and I'm going to go 2 inches that way, right? So that gives me my 4 inches. And then I don't want it to be like real pointy. I want to have it cut off square. So I'm going to find a place where I can kind of measure. Let's do this. Let's just make these windows 48 inches. So I'm going to make this window 48 inches, and I'm going to put a 4-inch escape. I'm going to put a 4-inch space here, and I'm going to make this window 48 inches. And that puts me close enough to that design goal at the end, having that last bit of that window. Okay, so what I've got is I've got 4 inches above the windows, 4 inches between the windows, 4 inches between the middle windows, 4 inches below the bottom, even though the bottom doesn't matter that much. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm marking all these grid lines, right? 48 inches is going to be the length of that window, and then I'm going to put a 4-inch spacer, just like everything else, and I'm going to put 48 inches. And then I'm going to get rid of that line there. So now I've marked out all my grid lines all around this triangle, and we know this area up here, we're going to just call it, let's just paint it green, right? That's the truss. And we know the area down below is going to be where our windows go. So what we're going to start doing now is just drawing out our windows. So we're going to come here, 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 and here. That's window 1, here, here. Just follow the grids and drop the pencil where it goes. And we're going to go here, 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 and here. And we're going to go here, here. Okay, let's go right, oops, escape, edit, undo. You can always undo anything you do in SketchUp. All right, so now I've got these windows defined, but let's drop some paint in them just so we know what they are. And so let's do a light green or light yellow. So there's our windows, and that reveal 4 inches is being held all the way around. So we know that these windows will fit under this truss with a 4-inch reveal on top and 4 inches in between each window. And that is going to work out perfect. So what you can do from here, if you wanted to, and you say you wanted to just create an order for these windows for your window guy to be simple, what I did was I just started to erase everything I don't need. So I don't need all that information, right? I just start erasing lines, and next thing you know, I'm left with just windows, right? Let's get rid of all these grid lines, because who needs them now? I'm done. All right, and these are the rough opening sizes. So these would not be the windows glass dimensions or anything like that. This is just pure rough opening. But now you can use a tool called Dimensions tool. And now I can just start grabbing dimensions on these windows. And you'll notice, because they were so well planned out, that they symmetrically just come out the same. So you know the bottoms are going to be 48. This bottom is going to be 48. All right, you mark all that up. And then you can use this one. This dimension, let's see. You might have to zoom in on a little bit. Yeah. Okay. You can use the hand tool to move around. And then go back to tools, dimensions. This one I like to pull into the yellow because you can see it better. So make sure you clear the line so they can read all the numbers. And Shift Z to center everything up, and you could screenshot that and send that off to your window guy and say, here are the dimensions for the 4 windows I need, rough opening sizes, so he'll know what to do from there as far as holding back and whatnot. And so once you do that, those windows should fit in perfectly where you want them to go, and there was no guesswork, there was no hard math. It was just clicking lines and dimensions and thinking things through. So I hope that helps you problem solve something maybe you're working on. And remember, you can use SketchUp not just to draw things or to do a 3-dimensional drawing, but you could use it as a calculation or a calculator tool to help you design things in the field that may not need 3 dimensions. It might just need some grid lines and things drawn, and then extrapolate data from those lines. So hope that helps, and thanks for watching.